with this selection tools collage is that we've got our images to start. So some of you guys were a little confused when I said like you'll need 3 portrait photos. So you guys did like 3 different collages, and those kids I tried to throw extra credit at already. But with this project, all we need is 3 portrait photos, and we're gonna stack those up. A photo of some text, and I've got a second one for like a big word to like throw on there. And then a texture, which was just taken right out there on the cement. That's a great texture. The floors, the walls, jeans, whatever kind of fabric, anything that looks like it would be kind of rough would be a good texture. Once we have all 3 of these, we're going to start collaging them together in Photoshop, which is just adding those layers together to make something cool. So to start that, I'll open up Photoshop and I'll drag over one of my portrait photos, and this will be my base layer. It's going to take a second to load. All right, one's loaded up here. Now I can throw my other ones on top of it. So I'll just open up this one, drag it right on top. It'll take a second to load again. Once it's loaded up, I have this X through it, so I can't do anything else until I place it. And I can do that by either clicking on this check mark that's up there or enter on your keyboard. So I'm just going to hit enter. Then I'm going to grab this one right here, throw it on there, hit enter as well. From my layers panel, I can right click on these and rasterize them so I can modify them. So right click and rasterize layer right there. And now that that's happened, I'm just going to select out certain parts of this. And to do that, I'm going to go polygonal lasso. You could just do like a square as well, but polygonal lets us do nice straight lines real easy. So I'm just going to grab like his eyes off of this one. And so I've got it selected here. And with the layer selected, I can either right click. Oh no, I can't right click there. It would have to come up here to edit and copy and then paste, or just like how you guys write English papers, Control C and Control V. So Control C, Control V. And you'll see this new layer pops up and it's just his eyes there. And that's all I want from that layer. So I'm going to delete that. So that layer's gone. And now we can see like those faces don't really kind of line up, but I kind of like that look with the double face. So I'm going to move that around a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with his head here and like the body down there. And I just want that background layer to show up. So I'm going to hit delete on the keyboard to delete from that second layer. And now I've got like this whole jagged look of different images cut up together. With mine, I'm going to want it to be black and white. So I'm going to come up here to image, adjustments, and then hue saturation. So again, image, adjustments, hue saturation, and I'll just drop the saturation down. I'll do that to this layer as well, image adjustments. Oh, that's color balance. And if you notice here, image adjustments, hue saturation is Control U. So if I just hit Control and U on the keyboard, pops open. And I'll do that one more time, Control U. And now they're all desaturated, black and white, like in the example. From here, we're going to start adding some different layers to it. But first, I want to try to keep things a little bit more organized. So I'm going to come up to this top layer and click on this folder right here. And that creates group 1. And I'm just going to hold Shift, select all of these after I unlock that by clicking on the lock and dragging them into group 1. So now I can like label this person and all my files are right in there. The next layer I'm going to add is my texture. So again, I clicked on that little folder right here and texture. And I'm gonna drag this in right here on top of it, but it's gonna be the wrong way. So I'm gonna come up to the corner and rotate it around, and I think it'll look best like that. I'm holding shift, so it only changes at like 10 to 15 degrees. If I don't hold shift, it'll let me free rotate it. But because I want it to be perfectly 90 degrees, held shift. And then I'm holding shift as I drag it through the corners here to keep that perspective locked in place. And now that it's completely over the image, I'm gonna do the same thing. Rasterize layer, image, adjustments, hue, saturation, drop saturation down so it's black and white. I'm gonna come up here, brightness, contrast, increase contrast right here, increase brightness a little bit, move that into texture. And now I'm gonna switch right here where it says normal, because obviously we can't see through it. There's no photo there. So as I click on these different ones and hover over them, darken looks pretty cool, but I'm gonna check out these other ones. Color burn looks pretty slick as well. Depending on what kind of look you want. Vivid light might work. Whole bunch of different ones. Let's see what looks good. I like this hard light one, but too much of his face is gone, and we want to be able to see that. So I'm just going to grab the eraser tool. Make sure the brush is set to like 0% hardness. And you can either choose to erase everything out completely, or I can drop the opacity on the eraser and be like, okay, let's only erase out half of it. So I'll make the brush the size of his face. Click a little bit. So we keep some of those details and it doesn't erase out everything, but it's only erasing a little bit out. And I really like how that looks. We still get the texture there. So just dropping opacity up there. From this point, we'll grab our text. And I'm going to open this up on a different layer, because I'm only going to want to grab a little bit of the text here. So I'll grab that polygonal lasso. And can somebody get the door for me? We got the that going out there. Let's see. Just grab some random text here. So again, I just use that polygonal lasso. I'm going to select this part and move just this text on over here. I'm going to hit Control T to transform it so I can make it a little bit bigger. Again, holding shift so I don't have to like work on resizing things. So that way everything stays locked in perspective. So I've got that there. And I'm going to do the same thing with some more text and throw it up at the top. So I can grab this move tool, move it on over to like right here. Hit Control T, blow that up. And now that I've got those there, I can play with how the layer interacts again by switching normal, scrolling through until I find something that works for me. And I kind of like hard light there, but pin light's even better because I just want a little bit of the text for this design. Yeah, pin light. So just like a little bit of text shows up there. I might duplicate that, throw that some more places. So if I like right click on this layer, duplicate it, I can drag it on up here. If I move it over, it won't look like it's the same bit of text each time, but then we've got like a whole paragraph going. And then finally, I'm gonna grab this big bit of text, drag it in. And then again, image adjustments, hue saturation, desaturate it. I'm gonna erase a little bit off of it because I don't want that T there. I don't want that little bit of red text there, so I'll just grab those parts, select them, and I inverted it, so select an inverse. Oh, needs to rasterize, so now I can just erase out. You'll notice it only half to erase though, because I've still got opacity set at 50%. So let's increase that to 100 so I can fully erase that. Lagging a little bit, there we go. And Control D will deselect, or you can come up there to select and deselect. See if I kill teams, if that will speed things up. Control D. 1 second, guys. Seems to be thinking or froze on me. Continue recording there. Okay, so let me just erase this little part. Oh, wrong layer. Let's get on the skate. Okay, so I've got that all erased out. So now I want this text to show through, but I don't want any of that gray. So I'm gonna play around with this and find one that works for me. Color burn might be a good one. And I'm not seeing anything that works too well for me. Maybe divide. But then I'm not seeing the text over there. So, but I think if I blow this up a little bit, Control T. Trying this in a few different places. Kind of abstract enough for me to work like that. The last thing that it wanted with this was just a colored line around the outside. And what I'm gonna do is, I have the rulers up, and if you hit Control R, it'll add these so you can see what the dimensions of your document are. And I'm gonna just put this at like a halfway point for each one here. And these blue lines won't show up on like a JPEG or any kind of like final work. They'll just be visible for you. I like where that's at. So I'm gonna come down here to this box right down here. Right now it's set for nothing filled in and a white outline. I want some kind of color, so I'm gonna grab this maroon. And instead of 1 point, I'm gonna bring this up to like 6 and see how this looks. And just drag this box. And 6 points seems a little bit small. 31 works a little bit better for mine. And I can just drag these anchor points, or sorry, these lines back onto the ruler. Get rid of them right there. And that's everything we're doing with the collage. From there, file and save as. And if we save it as a Photoshop document, PSD, you'll be able to go back, edit things, make all of your movements. So you'll want to save it like that. And then the other way we'll want to save it is just file export and quick export as ping. And this will create a much smaller file, easier to turn in. But yeah, all about just stacking those layers and then playing with how they blend together and removing a few things. So I'm just gonna call this wind channel selection collage. Hit enter and it's saved.